Everyone, please mute your audio and video. Contestant number 5, John Callaghan, Surviving the Storms of Life. Surviving the Storms of Life, John Callaghan.
It was a Friday afternoon. The phone rang. It was a call I'd been anticipating eagerly. It was an offer to buy the company that myself and a business partner had spent the last 6 years building. It wasn't retirement money, but it was the type of money that was going to dramatically change our lives. Maybe a new home, fully fund the kids' college funds, maybe some new toys. We were excited. All weekend long, we drove around looking at the new homes we might buy and mentally preparing ourselves for this big check that we were going to get. Monday came. We called the company back that had made the offer, accepted their offer. They said, great, we'll have the contracts to you by the end of the week. Let's get this deal done. We were excited. The next day was a Tuesday. But it wasn't any Tuesday. It was September 11th, 2001. It was the day of 9/11. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, 9/11 was a storm that blew through our society and changed it forever. Within a few days, the offer was off the table. Within 6 months, the business was gone. Everything gone because of 9/11, because of a storm that blew into our life and put everything onto a new trajectory, a new course. We had been sailing along, everything was going well, and suddenly it wasn't. Sounds an awful lot like today, doesn't it? COVID-19 has blown into our lives, and it is a storm of magnitude size. There are small storms that just disrupt your job, your life. There's bigger storms that destroy whole industries. And then there's ones like this that come along and it's going to change the entire society, potentially the entire world. But we cannot avoid storms. They happen in our lives, throughout our lives. They will always happen. The only thing we can do is make sure that we survive those storms in order to prosper in the long term. So we come along, we've got these storms that are going to hit us. What do we do about this? How do we survive the storms? I believe there's 3 parts to it. You've got to prepare for the storm. You've got to ride out the storm itself. And then you've got to put that storm behind you as fast as you possibly can. Let's touch on each of those areas. You've got to prepare for the storm. Now, conventional wisdom today says that you should prepare for the storm by stockpiling 6 months to a year's worth of food and 1 to 2 years worth of toilet paper. Probably overkill, but you never know. But I believe that the most important thing you can do to prepare for a storm is your skills. What skill development can you work on that will be of value at the end of the storm? Now, if you were a, say, mortgage broker back in 2007, that might have sounded like a good thing to spend your time and energies on. But then 2008 comes along and 2009, where the whole mortgage industry collapsed, and suddenly those skills aren't very applicable anymore. But what skills are safe? What skills can you work on that will always be of value? Public speaking, leadership. The 2 skills that we focus on here at Toastmasters are the skills that are universally of value, that people will always find value in those skills. And the fact that we've been practicing online meetings for the last year, 2 years, 3 years in some cases, obviously that is going to play in well wherever this storm ends up taking us. So you've got to prepare for your storm. Then you've got to ride out the storm. You've got to get through this thing, and it might take a month, it might take 6 months. We don't know how long this storm is going to last. How do you ride out the storm? I believe the most important thing you can do to ride out that storm is to have a community around you. Not too close, safe distances, but have that community of people who can be there to support you, but to challenge you as well, and to make you want to do more. And we saw a tremendous example of that this past week in our own group, with Roger sending out emails, calling everybody to step up to the leadership challenge, to emails back from Lois and through other members, all talking about the importance of stepping up at this time. That's a community that calls us to do more. The third part of this whole process is to put that storm behind you. Because if you don't put the storm behind you, there's a good chance that it's going to pull you back into the weave of the storm and send you blasting against the rock somewhere. Putting that storm behind you is critical. When I lost all of that opportunity to make a significant amount of money, yes, it stunk, it hurt for a long time, but eventually you've got to ride out the storm and move on. So that's what we did. You've got to climb the mast of your ship and look out and find the dry land. Look out there, spot it somewhere, and then take all those skills that you've worked on, put it into a massive action plan, and head out there and go after the new destination. Riding out the storm is critical. Getting it behind you is critical in order to succeed. We cannot prevent storms in our lives, but we can prepare for them. We can ride them out in a community of good people, and we can put that storm behind us, because sooner or later, we will hit dry land again. We will have beautiful weather again, and you will be able to sail off to the destination of your dreams. Mr. Contest Chair.
Thank you, contestant number 5. We will now have a minute of silence for our judges to tally their ballots.